So they're in trouble. The memo is interesting. Some people claiming that it's being reported out of context and so forth, fake news, don't know. But I haven't yet heard or seen Mrs. Lean In, Sheryl Sandberg, weigh in on this. But it does appear that Facebook is got a problem. And, you know, any company, folks, any company that offers its services free, it means only one thing. It means you are the customer. Or you're the product, actually. And you're the one being bought and sold. And that's exactly how Facebook is structured. Under Armour. Hear about this? Under Armour. Massive data breach from its fitness app. 150 million people use that app. Another big data breach. Not sure exactly when it happened, but once again, this is forcing people to deal with the fact that their data is not totally secure and private, no matter where they put it. You know, speaking of hellish news, did you see where a Los Angeles judge has ruled that California law requires coffee companies to carry a cancer warning label because of a chemical that's produced in the roasting process? Not kidding here. Is there anything that judges are not experts on? This is a Superior Court judge. He wrote in his proposed ruling that while plaintiff offered evidence that consumption of coffee increases the risk of harm to the fetus, to infants, to children, and to adults, defendants failed to satisfy their burden of proving that consumption of coffee confers a benefit. So the premise is that coffee can kill, and if somebody cannot prove that it doesn't, then the ruling is that coffee kills and needs a cancer warning label on it. So now a judge is requiring a company to prove a negative? That's not what our law is all about. But it's California, and it's, as I always say about California, when they think they've fixed something or solved something, they haven't. They only have opened a brand new can of worms that once again corrupts and pollutes our great society and culture. Brief timeout, my friends. It's Open Line Friday. Whatever you want to talk about happens to be the rule on Friday. We'll be back in just a moment. Hi, welcome back. It's Open Line Friday. And again, the rules on Open Line Friday are simple. You can talk about whatever you want. Does not have to be political. Doesn't have to be anything in the news. Doesn't have to be anything I care about. That generally is the rule Monday through Thursday because I don't want to get bored. And if I get bored, then nobody's going to listen. So that's the risk. I will run the risk of taking calls from people who want to talk about things I don't have any interest in. It's my one day of the week present to those of you to let you have your say, whatever. So have at it. Whatever you want to talk about. 800-282-2882. So I checked the email during the break. Rush, don't you think you're making a little bit too much of this Pope and the hell business? Well, actually, no. Folks, when it comes to the Pope as the vicar of Christ and the leader of the world's Catholics, I don't think this is insignificant. Now, Catholicism is like any other religion. You have your true believers, you have your in-name-onlys. It runs a gamut. But they're there. They are believers to one extent or another. They're born into it. They're raised into it. They're taught it. They have to learn it. They believe it. And here's the Pope. You know, even if he wasn't serious, is talking to an atheist journalist saying there is no hell. It's a problem. You know, Billy Graham said that he was most often asked the question about hell. Is there hell? Did he believe that there is a hell? And he quoted Scripture. He said in the Bible, the person that most often talks about hell is Jesus. He said, it might surprise you to learn that the person in the Bible who spoke the most about hell's reality was Jesus. He repeatedly warned people not to take it lightly. And they quoted Matthew 10:28. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Instead, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. In other words, be afraid of the devil. Do not be afraid of dying. Be afraid of going to hell. And that this admonition was frequently coming from Jesus. So that's, for that to be contradicted by the Pope, believe me, is going to shake some people up if they can't sweep this away. And by the way, what happens now to being devil's advocate? If there's no hell, there's no devil. So how can you ever be a devil's advocate? A whole line of questioning now has also been obliterated by the Pope. Okay, Open Line Friday. I'm going to start on the phones right now. I normally don't get the phones in the first hour, even on Open Line Friday, but I'm gonna change that. So we're going to start now. We're going to go to Quincy, Illinois. And George, great to have you, sir. You're up first today. You know, it's important. The first caller on Open Line Friday sets the tone. That means you got to be good.
Thank you, Rush.
I don't mean to add pressure or anything, but you got to be good.
Well, I'm going to do my best.
Thank you.
Rush, here's my thoughts on this David Hogg guy, that he's sort of the new dream child of the liberals.
Yeah, camera hog, you mean, right.
Yeah, camera hog, yeah. I've watched liberals for years, and rarely am I fooled by them. But I'll have to say that the smooth-talking Bill Clintons and the smooth-talking Barack Obamas, their message tricks people by their flowery language with "I feel your pain" and whatever else they say. I don't fear David Hogg, camera hog, at all. His message is vile and angry and hateful, and he basically riles up the 15% of the liberal far-left crazies. And I don't think he converts anybody in the middle. I think, if anything, he's going to be a great Republican get out the vote.
Wait a minute. You think he's going to end up being a liability to the left?
I think he is, Russ.
Okay, before we go there, that's an interesting point. Before we go there, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't hang around people that age very much. As you know, I don't have kids, so I'm not around teenagers. I have nephews and nieces, but I'm not around them all the time. So I really don't have a lot of experience with the modern day teenager. So I have to ask, you have kids, and how, if you do, how old are your kids?
21 and 22.
Okay, so it wasn't long ago that they were 17 and 18. Could you explain to me, you have acknowledged that Camera Hogg, he may not have the likable personality that Clinton or Obama had, but he's got the rap down. Can you explain to me how a 17-year-old sounds like an experienced 40-year-old liberal activist? He doesn't forget the quality of his voice, his strategy, his techniques, the way he's dealing with Rubio. This is the stuff that it takes 30 years experience or 20 years experience to learn the intricacies of what he's doing, and yet here he is 17. So, in your opinion, there's no wrong answer here. In your opinion, how's he been able to do this?
Well, Rush, the first time I saw him, it was interesting. They were cued by their teachers. I mean, they'd mention a teacher's name who they've been talking with. I think this developed over time. My biggest fear is what we see on the college campuses is also occurring undoubtedly.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait, I haven't been clear. He's not acting. The college kids, the snowflakes, get away. This guy's not afraid of anything. He's not like them. This I'm telling you, he's 17, and he sounds like he's going on 35 or 40. Sounds like he's run a couple presidential campaigns or political campaigns already. I'm just asking, if anybody has the answer, how does a 17-year-old get there? I mean, I had political opinions when I was 17, but I was no more equipped to go on media and do things like these kids are doing. And since I haven't hung around teenagers very much, I'm asking, what have I missed here in the evolution of teenagers the last generation or two?
Well, I speculated a while back, the first time I heard these kids and the Emma girl, to basically look an adult like